Karibu AMG Realtors. We have specialized in selling of land across the country in areas like Nanyuki, Naivasha, Nakuru, Juja, Kagunda Road, Malindi, and the Abadeas. Contact us today for land investment solutions and have your title deed delivered within 60 days upon completion of payment. SMS AMG to 40299 or call us on +254 748 229 941. AMG Realtors. We don't just deal in land, we deal in value.
Thank you so much, Richard, for joining the We Don't Play podcast show today. How are you?
I'm doing great, Favor, and I hope you are as well.
I am. Thank you so much. You know, shout out to Podmatch, because when I got connected to you and I wanted to, learn more about what you do, what really struck my mind was the idea about, homepage success. And there are 1.9 billion websites in the world, but not every website has a standing or stellar, homepage. So for me to see what you're doing, it's quite commendable.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's with so many websites out there, it's a real problem. Getting attention is a tough thing, and even at this point, even getting on Google's radar is a big deal.
That's true. That's 100% correct. And I would love people to know, who you are, what you do, because I know once we get into it, they're going to be so dialed in. So I want us to take care of, the intro so that people get to know who Richard is and what you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Richard, also known as Dick, has been in this business since punch card accounting machine days. So I'm an old guy. I've been doing this a long time. But about 20 years ago, I got involved in the multifamily marketing business, apartment complexes. I worked for a company that did accounting software for them, and they came to me because they knew of my interest in websites and said, hey, can you build a search engine optimization team for us for all of these apartment complexes? And that seemed like a wonderful challenge to me. So for about the past 10 of those years, I have been helping apartment complexes stay full of renters, basically. And now I'm expanding that away from just that market to a much broader market of real estate industry professionals. Now, I think as we go forward with the conversation, you'll probably see, but that's where I specialize. That's where my homepage is directed. Now, does that mean I won't take another client? Nope, it sure doesn't mean that. And that's a message that I think I want to get to people, is that when we talk about niching down or specialization, one of the greatest advantages of that is because it helps you on the internet get found. If you try and be all things to all people on the internet, you are just not gonna do it. You can't do it.
That is so true. That is so true, because when I think about home pages and call to action buttons and heat maps and things for people to understand, it's like it gets over their heads so quickly and they forget that it's all about consumer first.
That is so true. And that's really where I start with a home page, Favor, is when you land on a home page, there really needs to be a message above the fold, right there, bold, that grabs your attention. The one on my website says, spend less time prospecting and more time earning money. Now, if you're looking to spend less time prospecting and more time earning money, then that's going to grab your attention. If you're not, then you're on to the next website. So the first thing I really talk to people about doing is what is your promise? What is it that you can do for people? How can you help people on the web? It's about them. It's not about you. They're not coming to your website looking for, they're coming looking for an answer to their problem. They don't care how long you've been in business. They want to know, can you solve my problem?
That is so
and
true.
So that's why I want that to be that core message, that problem-solving message. I want that right above the fold to grab the attention when somebody comes onto your website.
That is so true. And you know what you just said has really sparked the interest, because in today's topic about the 9 critical elements for homepage success, you know, we think about all this gadgets, colors, fonts, and we forget about the critical elements which are essential. So I would love it if you can break it down for us and just tell us, what are these 9 critical essentials that we need to think about as elements for our success as a business or a brand?
All right. Well, the first one I just was talking about is really that core message.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun to think about that core message, because it's not always easy to come up with. If you're a painter, you may want to say, we paint houses, but that isn't what people want. They want somebody that, what I normally do, Faber, is I go out and I interview customers of the painter, of the plumber or whatever, and find out why people hire them. And it's something that anybody can do. Talk to your customers and find out, why are they doing business with you? What is it about you that they really enjoy? And it may be that you always clean up after yourself. It may be that you play with the kids. It may be that you get along with the dogs. But if you talk to a couple of your customers, you'll often find that there is a core reason that people like to do business with you. And then you take that, and that becomes your core message, your problem-solving message. So that's number one. Now, that message is not always real clear. So as we move on to number 2, you often, underneath that one-liner, have to go into a little detail about how you do that. How does the customer win from doing that? So you want to do maybe 250, 300 words underneath that core message that talk about how you can, it's sort of a story. It tells the customer's story of how they come to you and how they win by coming with you, so that they can put themselves into the story and see themselves taking advantage of your offer. And if you're a remodeler and they can actually see their brand new shiny kitchen, that kind of thing. So that's number 2. You wanna just move forward, or you wanna talk about that at all? You have any questions about that?
That is important, because when you talk about the core message and you're solving a problem, you know, there's no business that is not in business that doesn't solve a problem. So it's like the way people think about that core message, and like how you said, it's very important for them to think about the uniqueness of how succinct their messaging should be. You know, if you talk about a paragraph, that's a lot of information, but if you're saying one sentence, it's something that can catch someone's attention, especially in a quick time, you know, frame that people are looking for information all over the internet. So I love what you mentioned about that.
Wonderful. Well, after that, then we start to get into the weeds a little bit. So as we move to step number 3, now we've got some content on the website. Now we need to start talking a little bit about the dreaded SEO question. You know? So when you're thinking about your core message, you're going to want to have something in there that people are searching for, because if they're not searching for it, then as good a job as you do, it's not going to work out. So you want to find a term to incorporate into your core message that also has some action to it. So you're going to want to play with that. So this doesn't happen in 5 minutes. It could take 5 days or 5 weeks before you really come up with that message that has a search term in it, that has some searches to it, has some activity, but also is something that grabs the attention of the prospect. And then you need to look at that in terms of the title of your page, in your description, in your images. You need to start looking at having the alt tags in your images and that kind of thing. So now you're starting to get into taking that content and turning it into structure, and how we start building Google-friendly content. And you got to be careful, of course, not to overdo it. And I don't want to get too far in the weeds here, but if you mention a search term 2 or 3 times, that's probably enough. You don't need to do it 17 times, because that's going to hurt, not help you. So, just to go back over this, we've got your promise with the core term in it. You're telling the story of how they succeed with it, but all through that, you're using terms that have search activity on Google so that you can get some of that traffic that we're going to need down the road. I think one of the things that I didn't address and maybe want to sort of back up and talk about is it's important to remember that the home page is your dating phase. It's not the I do phase. So when you're doing this, be careful that you're making an effort for people to know, like, and trust you. That's the purpose of that homepage. To get people to know who you are, to like you, and to trust you. And as we go forward, you'll see that more and more, how that builds into that. So I'm going to move on to 4. And number 4 is really starting throughout your content to pepper the benefits. So in 2, we talked about the story, where they're the hero of their story, and they're getting what they want by getting your product or service. But here we're going to talk about what are the benefits of that. So this is not a one section of a homepage thing. This is something that runs throughout the homepage. Is how does it solve their problem? How does it relieve their pain? So that's the kind of thing that we really want to take here in number 4. So we're almost halfway there at this point. Now we get into what are called the trust elements. And this is the biggie. This is a real biggie because, as I said, we've got to get people to know, like, and trust. We hopefully, in these first 4 steps, have gotten people to know us. We've gotten them to like us. And now we need them to figure out, well, who the heck are you? Why should, you sound good, but are you any good? And that's a pretty big deal. So you're going to want to have reviews from your customers. You're going to want to have, if you can get them, you're going to want to have their pictures, and you're going to want to have their names, not just John. You're going to want to have John Jones, Maurice Schwartz, whatever. But you're going to want, if you can get it, you're going to want their picture, and you're going to want their last name, and you're going to want then that review element. The more of those you can get, you only need 3 or 4, but you're going to want to perhaps get some from people that other people know. Maybe you've done business with the owner of a company in your neighborhood. Maybe you've done some work for one of the best known people in your area. You'd love to get a review from those people. So reviews, those are a big piece. You're going to want to have icons. If you're a member of the Chamber of Commerce, for heaven's sakes, put that on your website. If you're active in the community in a professional organization, for heaven's sakes, put that on the website. Because all of these talk about your community involvement and help people sort of build that feeling of trust for you, that feeling that, here's a guy that's active in his community. He may be involved in charities. He's got people talking about what a great job he did for them. And any honors, awards, articles that you've written, you want to have those on the homepage, because those are all essential trust-building elements for who you are. You can't just do it with a core message. That's not enough.
That is deep.
Thoughts?
I've been thinking about what you said, and what really struck my mind when you mentioned the point of referrals and, good reviews. It's like dating, as you mentioned. If somebody is in that dating phase, they want to know almost everything about that person in that one night. But you don't get everything that one night either, because you can't know somebody in one night. But the much you know is enough to tell you or give you an informed decision on what to do next. And that's what you've been able to do through your core message, through your branding, through the SEO, because if Google can recognize you, Google can suggest your content to the person looking for you. And most people don't get that really understood because it sounds too technical or it sounds too far-fetched, that they don't even want to deal with it, and yet that's the real reason why they're not moving the needle.
Yeah, it is. Today, more and more, I'm going to move on to number 6 at this point, so we're moving along. Today, more and more, people want to have video on the homepage. This is all part of that. Again, more of the know, like, and trust. The more of that you can do, the better job it's going to do for you. Now, the video really should sort of tell your story, tell about what you do. If you're in a business where you have a team of people that go to different people's homes, you're in the services business, in home services, then if you can get videos from your employees who are going to the homes of these people, this is really ideal, because then you can let the homeowners see who's coming to their home before they even get there. And certainly, your own video, now the video on my homepage doesn't have my image on it. It's sort of pure animation, if you would. But video gives you a 2-minute opportunity. You don't want it much more than 2 minutes to sort of tell people who you are. People aren't reading anymore, Favor. It's tough to get people to read the content on your homepage. So if you give them a 2-minute video, you've got yet another opportunity to get them to know who you are. Some people are more visual. Some people would much rather watch that 2-minute video than they would take 30 seconds to read your copy. So again, another critical element of the homepage, you really need to have a video there that does a lot of what we already did in the other stuff. It's probably repetitive, but it's going to attract people different from the people that were on the other side of things. People that were reading the content may not watch the video.
Yeah.
It's what, we're going to have different types of people. We're going to have visual people coming. We're going to have people that are more feeling oriented. We're going to have people that are more thinking oriented. So the more of these different types of people you can appeal to, a better your chance of getting their attention. And of course, number 7 is calls to action. Good golly, I can't tell you the number of home pages I've looked at in my life. We're down at the bottom someplace. It says subscribe to my newsletter. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because, as I said, we're in the dating phase. We're not in the I do phase. Your call to action shouldn't be buy my stuff. Your call to action needs to be an opportunity for somebody to try your stuff. So we're going to get people to try, then buy, not the other way around. So this is where you come up with a white paper. This is where you come up with something that's free or inexpensive to get the person to make a commitment to give you their name and email address. This is where we do our name capture. And this is a place that I really like to use a product like ClickFunnels. Doesn't have to be ClickFunnels, but it's a place where you can offer something to somebody for free. And then on the thank you page, you have the opportunity to offer them something for $7, for $17, for $27. You have an opportunity to upsell that giveaway and give them, anybody who takes advantage of that thank you page offer is a much better prospect. They've identified themselves at that point as someone who is more interested and really ought to move up on your ranking of where they are in your pipeline. So you want to have perhaps more than one, because just as I talked about, some people want to read your content, some people want to watch your video. Some people are going to want to read a white paper. Some people are going to want to watch a 15-minute video of you doing what you say you can do. So consider having more than one call to action on your homepage that gives people the opportunity to consume information about you in different ways.
That's amazing.
It's amazing how many people don't have it, or just have a little call me, or if I go to a website favor and somebody says book me for a consultation, quite frankly, for me, that's a hell no. No, I'm not going to get on the phone with you and burn up some time. Tell me about what you can do for me, and let me consume it as I choose to consume it. Then if I'm interested, I'll let you know and I'll schedule a call with you.
That's a good one, because a lot of businesses do that. And you mentioned the video aspect, just to back up just a little bit, because some people wonder, okay, I want to do a video, but I don't know how to upload it. So would you say it's better for someone to use a platform like Video Ask, or should they have an unlisted video uploaded or embedded to their YouTube channel and then put on their homepage? Or do they directly upload the video to their homepage? What's the best option they have?
Wow. To say the best, it really, I use YouTube. And I use YouTube because it always works. And I think I also use YouTube because I've been doing this for 147 years. And that was what I started using because that was the option when I started uploading video. To upload video directly, you may not have the website power to stream from your website. So if you've got a really powerful server and you want to upload it to your server and let people stream from your website, go ahead on, but for me, I feel comfortable that if I upload that video to Vimeo or to YouTube, that they've got a powerful engine behind there that anytime anybody clicks on that button, they're going to get to see my video. There's just no doubt about it. Those sites don't go down. I don't know how they do it, but they do. My site does. Every once in a while, I'll get a note from my server saying, can't find you. And I don't want that to be the time for a video not to work.
Thank you so much for that answer. That helps a lot of people.
Sure. You're going to want to have branding on your website. So whether you're a graphic person or not, now I am not. Quite frankly, when it comes to graphics, I'm really good at a lot of other things. Graphics is not one of them. Every time I've tried to make an image for a YouTube app or something, it's been, it hasn't been good, let me put it that way. So I pay people to do my graphic work for me. But you're going to want to have a color and a color scheme on your website that you carry throughout everything you do. Even your downloadables, even your every page, anything that has to do with your business cards, if you use them. Nobody does anymore, but stationery, if you still use that. Anything, I think mostly where you see it is if you do webinars, you're going to want to carry that same branding from your website to your webinar. If you do podcasts, you're going to want to carry that same branding so that people associate that color, that logo, that look with you, because it helps establish you as a professional. It helps establish you as an authority in your marketplace. And it helps with the trust. People can then, I can't think of anything worse than taking somebody off your website onto a page that doesn't look anything like your website and expecting the customer to trust that web page. I don't know about you, but if I'm on a website that looks like this and they send me to a product page that looks completely different, I'm thinking, what is this? Is this an affiliate offer? What is this? What am I getting into here? So you want your branding to be consistent throughout. And finally, we're going to hit number 9 at this point, and this is contact details. And this may be, in terms of search, this may be the number 1, not the number 9. If you don't have a consistent profile, name, address, and phone number throughout the web, you are doing significant damage to your website. So your name, address, and phone number in your Google business profile, which I didn't talk about, but you need to have a fully filled out Google business profile. You need to have a Bing business profile. Just because Bing isn't as big as Google doesn't mean you should ignore it. You need to have a Bing business profile. And then, Favor, there are 75, 77, 120 other directories that pick up your information from your website. They pick it up from Google My Business, they pick it up from Bing, and they start listing you as well. And then they may get your phone number wrong. They may have transposed a number. They may have copied something wrong. You may have moved. You may have moved from this office building to that office building. They're not going to keep up with that. So it is absolutely critical that you have a consistent name, address, and phone number throughout the web. That includes on the bottom of your home page. You really need to have your name, address, phone number, and in fact, I really recommend you also have a Google map down at the bottom of your home page as well, with an image of the map of where your office or home is. I know a lot of people who work from home are a little uncomfortable with that. I don't put my street address on my map. I just put the town that I live in. So I put the Website Marketing Pro in Cedar Grove, North Carolina. But if you're not willing to put your name and address and phone number on your home page, how much trust do you think that inspires?
That's big. That's big. I think a lot of people are going to make those changes very soon, because I'm sure as you were listing down the 9 core elements, some people were thinking, oh, that's me. Oh, he's talking to me. You know, it's like, it's a good refresher for people to know, because even changing the date, some people still have 2021 on their footer and they don't change it. So it's like a practice people don't really practice.
Yeah. Now, of course, there's lots of other web pages on a website, but the home page is 98.6% of the time, Favor, is the page that gets in the search results highest in the search results from Google. It's kind of like having people come to your house and enter through the basement door. I don't want people coming in my basement door. I want them coming in my front door. And that's what your home page is. Your home page is the front door to your website, and that's where you want to welcome people in. Now, you want to lead them different places from there, certainly. You want to lead them to your offers. You want to lead them to your blog, all that kind of good stuff. But the home page is the page on which, certainly for anybody that's starting in small business and entrepreneur, this is where you really need to put your focus. And then you can work on the other pages. But until you get that home page where it's ranking, don't worry about your inner pages. That's the end of my sermon, Favor. Amen.
Amen to that. That was a huge one, and I'm so glad that you were able to bless our audience and give us some really, really good insight on how to structure your homepage for 2022 and beyond, knowing that these are the core elements that can make or break your business going forward. So I really appreciate you for this, Richard.
Well, I appreciate very much you welcoming me onto your podcast.
Anytime.
I thoroughly enjoy doing this. You may be able to tell. This is a good time for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If there's a way they can contact you, reach out to you, if they want to, stay in contact, what options do they have available?
I think the best option is to go to the website marketingpro.com, because once you hit my homepage, that leads to everywhere else.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you and definitely look forward to having you once again.
Thank you very much, Favor.
You're welcome.